Good morning, guys. So I had a great idea for a video. I was gonna see how much I can make spending $100 on items at thrift stores to buy and resell for a profit. Now I'm gonna go to as many thrift stores as I can until I completely spend my $100. So I don't know how long that's gonna take, or if it's gonna take one thrift store or two thrift stores. You really do not know, because thrift stores are always a hit and miss for me, especially in my area. There is so much competition, so a lot of the good items go really quickly. I need to keep in mind when I am buying items, I'm gonna be able to sell them locally on Facebook Marketplace or on eBay as well. So I need to make sure that I am picking good items that have a good margin, because I am not trying to sit with a bunch of junk items, whether something is broken or not. I gotta make sure that I am hand selecting each item that I'm grabbing. This video should be interesting because you never know what you're gonna find at a thrift store, and I have no idea how much money I can make from spending $100 thrifting. So let's go ahead and hit up our first thrift store. So as soon as I got in the thrift store, I noticed that there was some Guitar Hero controllers in the glass case, and these sell really well, but unfortunately they were asking $40 a piece. The first section that I usually go to in a thrift store is the electronics section, because at the electronics section, that's really where you pay the least amount of money and make the most profit. On the shelf, I noticed that there was a Polaroid camera, and these have sold very well for me, and they are a very, very trendy item right now, so a lot of people are buying them. This one is made in the United Kingdom, and they were asking $7 for it, and that's a pretty good price considering the condition this one's in, so I went ahead and threw it in my cart. This specific thrift store usually is overpicked, so there's not a lot of electronics to choose from. As you can see, there's only one or two items besides that camera, so unfortunately all I can grab is the camera from the electronics section, and then I'm gonna head over to the toy section. On my way to the toy section, I noticed that there was these two blow-up molds made by Empire, and they were very vintage. They're not in the best condition, and I know a lot of people, they always rave about blow-up molds, but I never mess with them. Now, these two blow-up molds were only selling for about $40, and they're in pretty bad condition, so I went ahead and passed. I always check the toy section at this specific thrift store because one time I did find some vintage toys. Specifically, they were Ninja Turtles, so I always like to give a glance over the toy section at this thrift store, and we actually did find a vintage toy. This is a Roadie from 1984. It's basically a sit and bounce, and it's made in Italy. Now, it doesn't really sell for much. They were only asking $10, but I put it back anyway. Maybe somebody else can enjoy them.
Brother, take me with you.
I always like to check the board game section as well. I specifically look for anything Pokemon, and then anything made by Milton Bradley called Axis and Allies. I do tend to buy some Simpsons stuffs now and then, but I only really mess with anything board game related if it's only Pokemon or Axis and Allies, because that stuff sells the best. This thrift store also has a video game section, but I've only found good video games once out of maybe the 3 years that I've been going here, so I usually don't check it because it's always overpicked. Unfortunately, all we grabbed from this specific thrift store was just that Polaroid, but hopefully we can find more. Okay, so that was the first thrift store. We paid $7.68. We only got one item, unfortunately. This is a vintage Polaroid camera. These sell for about $45, free shipping, and I paid $7 for it. I'm gonna check it out when I get home. I also did check out the clothing section and also the VHSs, and there was nothing, no video games, nothing. I looked through the whole entire store, and this was the only thing I felt comfortable buying because there is a decent profit margin on it. I'm gonna be heading over to one of my local Goodwills, and we're gonna check out that thrift store to see if we can't find anything to bump up our budget, because we have $100 to spend. Anytime that I go to Goodwill, before I head to the electronics section, I always check out these rolling carts. Now these carts are probably the freshest stock of items inside of the Goodwill. It's stuff that was in the back that just got priced, and then they just put it out on the floor just then. So usually this is where you find your freshest items. People swear by these. They'll stand outside the door waiting for these carts to come out because this is the best chance that they can get for getting good items that aren't picked over yet. But I didn't really find too much inside these carts. There was a US Army metal wallet, but I did find this Magnavox VHS rewinder, and it was in pretty decent condition. It was only $4, so I went ahead and grabbed it. So the first thing that I look for when I go to the electronics section specifically is VHS players and compact disc changers. These sell the best for me on eBay. I don't know what it is. If they have the remote, they sell that much better. Here is a Pioneer compact disc changer. They're asking $15 for it. I went ahead and threw it in the cart because I want to double check if it works. And if it does work, we might pick it up because they sell for a lot of money. Here is another Pioneer compact disc changer. This one is a little bit better of a model, so it sells for more. They're also asking $15, so I went ahead and threw that one in the cart as well. Right before I was about to leave the electronics section, I found something that was really intriguing to me. Now this is a digital counter. This is something that you'd see at like a deli when you pull a number and then your number's up next. They would have the number on the wall for you to see. Usually they're for commercial use, but it was so cool at $10, I had to pick it up. I also found this Hell's Kitchen covered casserole dish, and these sell for about $40 new. But they were asking $20 for it. Even though it's new in the box, I left it. Here is a brand to be on the lookout for. It is called Atlantic Mold. Now that's what this is. I think this is an uncolored potato. They're asking $5 for it, but it's only selling for about $15. But keep an eye out for Atlantic Mold stuff because they do sell for a lot of money if you find the right piece. After looking around the entire store, I really wasn't seeing anything else that was intriguing me, whether it was the clothes section or if it was housewares. I really just could not find anything until I stumbled across this big blue bin that was just rolled out, and it was filled to the brim with musical instrument stuff as well as some pro audio equipment as well. As a musician myself, I knew exactly what to look out for, what sells and what does not, and what brands are the best out there. So I really got excited once I saw this bin, and as you can see, I was the only one at the bin, and I just started digging through it. The first thing that I found was this 61 key electronic keyboard, and I think it's made by Green Pro, and it also was brand new in the box with a stand. And it was a no-brainer at $15, so I threw that right in my cart right away. There was a ton of other stuff at the bottom. I was just trying to dig through it. There was another keyboard. It was a MIDI keyboard made by M Audio, which is another good brand to look out for. The keys were all yellowed, so I really just left that one behind. There was some wireless microphone receivers. This one is made by Innopow, and it's not the best, so I left it behind. It was pretty beat up as well. There was also another wireless receiver, and this one was in a lot better condition. They were asking $7. Went ahead and threw that in my cart. Here's a marimba. It was unbranded, so I went ahead and left it behind. I know that I'm throwing it in my cart right now, but I left it behind because it was unbranded. All the way on the bottom, I found this thing, whatever this is. It looks really old, no idea. I doubt it works, and I'm not sure if it sold for anything for parts, so I didn't pick it up. Right here is a cassette tape recorder, and it also had these cool vintage speakers that went along with it. I thought it was really cool. They were asking $25. I went ahead and threw it in my cart because I wanted to research it before I bought it, because $25 is a pretty hefty price. As you can see, the workers just kept bringing stuff out that was related to musical instruments, and this right here is actually a violin yucca, and it is very, very old, I think from the 30s. You can see the actual receipt that was in the sound hole. It was $35. Here's some more stuff they're bringing out. There's some guitars, there is some more pro audio equipment, more keyboards. I really just got overwhelmed. I just started grabbing stuff and throwing it in my cart. All the way on the bottom of the bin was this PA head. It was made by Hollinger, which is not the best brand, but it is pretty reliable. It's only a 4-channel head, so there's really nothing special to it. But for $20 on that guy, I went ahead and grabbed it. And right here you can see is a little auto harp, which was cool. I went ahead and briefly looked up everything, but I knew I was getting a good deal, so I just packed my cart up and then I went to check out. Okay, so that was very eventful. As I was about to leave the Goodwill, there was an entire bin that was just rolled out from the back, and it was all musical instrument stuff as well as some pro audio stuff. And I have some knowledge in that industry, so I knew exactly what to look for. Mind you, I was the only one that looked through this bin, and I got first picks at everything. I went all the way to the bottom, and I grabbed everything that I thought was worth value. As you saw from the video, there was just a ton of stuff. There was a bunch of vintage stuff as well. And although I wanted to grab almost everything in there because I knew it did sell either locally or on eBay, I wanted to try to stick to the $100 goal that we have. And I did go a little bit over. I paid about $125 for everything. But if you take out the taxes that I had to pay, I'm closer to about $110. So I paid about $110 for everything when our goal was $100. So it's unfortunate, but we got a lot of good stuff, and I'm about to show you guys everything that I grabbed. Okay, so here is $100 worth of stuff from the thrift store. Yeah, this is all you get. This used to be like $50 worth of stuff maybe 5 years ago, but everything went up in value and thrift stores started charging a lot more for pricing because they realized that a lot of the items that they're selling are worth a lot of money. I'm going to go through each item and quickly break it down, and I'm going to show you some sold comps of it and what I can expect to sell it for and then what I paid for it. Okay, so here's the keyboard that I bought. It is a GRP 322. It is a Green Pro brand. Came with the box. It was like brand new in the box. I paid $15 for this guy. And the last one that sold was just the keyboard itself. It was $40 plus $40 for shipping, so $80. I think these sell for like $100 new. It does have the stand, but unfortunately it is missing the hardware, so there's no screws or anything. But I'm sure I can just go to the hardware store and get this thing up and running and sell this as a total lot for maybe 60 bucks, 70 bucks. It is literally brand new in the box. Again, paid 15 bucks for this guy. So here's the biggest score of the day in my opinion, plus the most expensive at $25. So this is a Super Scope brand stereo cassette recorder. It is a CS200 model, and it has all of the wires. I did power it on and it does work, but I do not have any cassettes to test it. But it comes with these extended range speakers and this whole entire set with all of the cables included, and it's in really good condition. The last one of these sold for $150 plus $30 shipping from Canada. So I'm pretty excited to list this guy up once I get it tested. Paid $25 for this, and this is probably the biggest score of the day, selling at close to $150. All right, here is another oddity that we picked up. This is an auto harp, and it is made by Oscar Schmidt. As the name entails, it is literally what you think it is. It is a portable harp. You can push down these little knobs, and it gives different chord changes on these strings, and you can strum away. I do not think this thing is in tune, and it looks extremely old and vintage. The last one that I saw on eBay sell for was $70 plus shipping, and I don't know if I can get that out of this one. There's no extra manuals or anything like that. There's 20s written all over this thing, but they just come right off. If anybody's ever worked at Goodwill, please let me know how they do their pricing, because how do they determine what goes to auction and what does not? Because this thing is still selling for about $70 plus $30 shipping. So why were they only selling it for $20 when they could have just threw it on their auction site and made more money? I have no idea. If you've ever worked at Goodwill, please clarify in the comments. This is a receiver for a whole entire karaoke or wireless microphone setup. Now, this is probably a decade at least old. It is the UHF 2000 model. It is a Singtronic brand. and I have no idea this exact model, how much it goes for, but the brand new UHF 2000 from 2022 is selling for like 600 bucks. So I have no idea if this older model is still going for any money. I would assume maybe 50 bucks on it. I have no idea. I still have to test it out. But I paid $7 for it, and I think maybe $50, if that's how much it's selling for. I might get it appraised at a local audio shop. Okay, so this next thing was actually really cool. I really didn't know what it was when I was grabbing it off the shelf, but it all made sense to me. So this is made by Microframe, and it's usually for commercial only. It is, long story short, a digital board that literally just counts to 999. So you would put this up in your restaurant or your shop if you owned a deli or something and they were pulling numbers, and you can just put up the number on the wall so the customers can know exactly what number you're at. And this is pretty much commercial use only. You would use this at like a sporting event or a business, and these things are selling for like $300 for a kit. I couldn't find any exact sold comps on these, and if they're even desirable, because I'm sure a huge business would just buy it straight from Microframe. So I don't know if they're just buying them off eBay or not. I doubt it. But if I can get this thing to sell, I think it would sell for pretty good money. It just needs the adapter, and it just goes in with these two female inputs right there, and then it just goes to a wall. Pretty much, yeah, it's just a counter that you put on the wall if you own a deli or something. And it was really cool finding this at Goodwill. Not sure on the price, but they do sell for a lot of money. I always try to pick these up when I see them. I saw this on the Goodwill cart that they had rolled out. It is a Magnavox tape rewinder. And yeah, that's pretty much all it does. But these things are still in demand because a lot of people still like VHS. So I picked it up, paid I think $4 for it. Yeah, and I think they're selling for around 30 or 40 if it is working. Here's that Polaroid that I found. This is a one-step flash Polaroid, and there wasn't any sort of film in it. I already checked, but it's made in the United Kingdom and it's in really nice condition. Like I said, these are selling for about $30 or $40. This one, unfortunately, is going to be untested because even though that it doesn't have any of the film in it, if it still had the cartridge with no film in it, you can still test them because there's that green light on the top and you can just see if that green light comes on. But unfortunately, it doesn't even have that, so I'm gonna have to sell this thing untested. But they are selling for about $30 or $40, and I paid $7 for it. Here is a Hollinger PA120 head. It's got 4 inputs. It's pretty basic. It does have a little bit of extra stuff like this digital echo effect, and you can change the depth of it and the time. So it is pretty cool. I think these are selling for about $70 on the used market, and I paid $20 for it. There was some matching speakers, which were like $25 a piece that I could have grabbed and made a little bit of money on. But I'm not grabbing PA monitors because those things are extremely heavy. But I could have grabbed them and had a whole set. And if they're still there within a week, I might as well grab them. But yeah, I paid $20 for this guy, and he sells for about $70 if he does work. All right, last up, we got this Pioneer compact disc player. Now, there was 2 of these at the Goodwill, but like I said, I was trying to stay around that $100 threshold, and I had to only pick one. So I went ahead and picked up the more expensive one, which is this PDM501 model. And this guy does power on. I haven't fully tested it yet, but if this guy does end up working, since it's in such good of condition, it's gonna sell for about $100, and the last one that sold for about $110. So if everything ends up working, we have about $620 of retail value. Some of these items do have a miscellaneous price tag, like that digital counter. Although it does sell in a set for over $300, I'm gonna mark it at about $70 flat because that might be a good price for it to sell at. We don't have any of the adapters for it or anything like that. And if somebody buys it, it's gonna be for a hobby or maybe a business. So about $70 on that guy. And I paid $120 for everything. So $620 of retail value. And we spent about $120 with our tax. And if I'm gonna sell everything on eBay, I have to take into consideration the fees and the shipping costs for that. So that's gonna be about another $150. So at the end of the day, if we don't sell anything locally and we sell everything on eBay, we're gonna make about $350 of profit after our fees and shipping and our cost of goods. So it looks like after thrifting all morning, spending our $100, we are looking to make an estimated profit of $350. $150. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Did I just get lucky, or is that a normal day of thrifting for you? I know I live in a highly populated area with lots of competition, so I think I did get a little bit lucky, but I do think that you can make upwards of $100 to $200 a day thrifting. That's gonna do it for today's video. If you saw anything that interests you in today's video, check out my eBay. I'm gonna leave the link for that in the description below. I'm gonna be selling almost all of this stuff on eBay, and the rest of it I might take to a local music shop or sell it locally. So if you have any inquiries about any item that you specifically want, you could just check out my eBay account or send me an email. I also have my email in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.